Hi guys, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host Indira, and today I'm joined by New Balance athlete Jasmijn Lau. She's the first guest from the Netherlands and also a world-class runner. Jasmijn is a European under-23 champion over the 10,000 metres, also bronze medalist over that distance, and a silver medalist over the European under-23 cross-country championships. She's got a 31:53 10k and a 15:18 5k. She's also someone who's faced a lot of challenges, especially over the past few years, particularly around injuries. In this episode, she shares her journey, her story, and where she's at now. Jasmijn has an amazing mindset, and there's so much that can be learned from and taken away from this episode. Not just from a running perspective, but for anyone who's going through a tough time in life or encountering challenges and setbacks, Jasmijn shows and demonstrates how with the right mental attitude, anything can be overcome. Before we get into the episode, as always, if you've been enjoying the show, please be sure to give the podcast a rating, hit the follow button, and consider sharing it with someone who might benefit from it too. This helps to give credibility to the podcast and connect listeners to episodes which can help them. Okay, let's get into the episode. Hi, Jasmijn. How are you? And thanks for joining us from the Netherlands.
Hi, thank you. I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Got a friend staying, so it's been a fun weekend. How about you? What have you been up to this morning?
I've been doing a workout, of course, in the forest, which was really cold, but also really nice. And after that, I had quite of a lazy afternoon, so it's all fine.
Nice, that sounds good. Have you got particularly cold temperatures at the moment, minus degrees?
Yes, it's very cold in the Netherlands. I feel like today it was not minus, but it felt like that. But it has been freezing like in the last couple of days. So it's very slippery on the roads and very cold, but it's also beautiful. So it's like nice and also a bit hard for the running.
Yeah, you get the beauty, but you feel the pain.
Yeah, for sure. And especially
Awesome.
like my muscles and stuff, they don't really like the cold. So it's always a bit of a struggle, but after a good warm up, it is always fine.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Takes a bit longer to get going in the cold. And do you have any
Yeah.
gear in particular that you like to wear in cold weather?
Yeah, I wear a lot of layers and especially my body warmer. I don't know if you know that, like the vest thing.
Yeah,
I really like that one. And the gloves, of course, and the headband. So all the gear.
yeah, good. Yeah, good invention, that stuff for sure. Okay, and would you be able to briefly introduce yourself? So, of course, I'll bring everyone up to speed if you don't already know. Jasmijn is one of the best runners from the Netherlands. Sub 32 10k runner, 3 times national champ, European under 23 10,000 meter champion, also bronze medalist there, silver medalist in the under 23 European cross country champs, all round phenomenal athlete. But yeah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Jasmijn,
In the Netherlands.
and I live in Nijmegen. That's a city in the south of the Netherlands. And I moved here like 5 years ago because of my study at the Radboud University. And besides a student, I am also a runner. I prefer to run the longer distances, so the 10K, half marathon. Um, yeah, and I'm 25 years old now.
Awesome. No, well, yeah, great to have you join. And
Yeah.
just to give maybe people a bit of a flavor of what's to come, what's the number one piece of advice that you would give to your younger self?
Oh, for sure, patience. But I need to give that advice still to myself right now because I'm very impatient. I don't have patience. So yeah, for my younger self, that was a good lesson. But still, I have to remind myself to be patient
Yeah,
with
don't
the
we
running.
all? For
Yeah, for
sure.
sure.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to hurry into it, and sometimes you need to stay patient, and then you get more out of it. I think.
Yeah, definitely is a virtue to be patient for sure, but so difficult, especially when you've got the motivation and you're ready to work
Mhm.
hard, but sometimes the body doesn't always like that.
Yeah.
Okay, and some quick kind of fun questions to help everyone to get to know you before we dive into kind of your journey and things like that. First things first, if you were to describe yourself as an animal, what animal would you be and why?
Ooh, maybe like a deer. Um, because I love the forest and I love to run in the forest. And yeah, that's maybe a good animal for me.
I like that. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it sounds quite exciting running in the forest and stuff. We can definitely dive into kind of your training around that. And if you were to win the lottery, what's the first thing that you do?
Oh, that's funny because I talked about this in class yesterday with some friends because we were kind of bored and done with the exercise. Um, and yeah, we were like, "Ooh, that's so hard." But I came up with like going diving in, for example, Great Barrier Reef or something. Uh, Something cool like this.
Ooh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, for sure. No, that'd be really, really fun thing to do. And who knows, maybe if you ever racing out in Australia, you can take a quick
Yeah,
swing by.
yeah, it would be cool.
If you were a runner, what would you do instead?
Um, yeah, maybe um focus more on my studies. Like I'm already busy with my study, but maybe then I would be uh yeah, taking more time for my studies or maybe doing like extra programs and stuff and those kind of things.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely is a big time commitment running and the training
Yes.
required for it.
Yeah.
And for you, what would be the best place for a holiday?
Ooh, I love the mountains. So like going on training camp to the mountains, for example, Volromeu, um, that's the best thing I want to do. So somewhere in the mountains, like the Alps, or I would love to go to Italy to the
Oh,
Dolomiti,
yeah.
because that looks so beautiful. And I've been there when I was young, but I really want to go back and see it again.
Oh, 100%. I feel like that's a place that a lot of people are talking about at the moment, and mountains are
Yeah,
definitely the best, in my opinion, anyway.
yes. Like in the Instagram algorithm, I'm in the mountain pictures, so I see them all the time, and yeah, I really want to go.
Yeah, no, mountains are just, yeah, absolutely phenomenal. And have you ever
Yeah.
considered like mountain running?
Now it's funny. I've done a trail race in the summer, so last August,
Yeah.
and that was in the French Alps, close to Chamonix, and it was like a 18 kilometers race, and that was really fun, but also really painful. But definitely, I want to do it again. But then maybe spread my energy a little bit better because I started out way too fast, so I really died. And yeah, but it was cool experience.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. And yeah, 18K is definitely a long way.
Yes, especially with the downhills. Like uphill was like fine, but downhill that was terrible for
Gosh.
the quadriceps.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah, ankle twisting territory, a lot of
Yeah,
force.
yeah. But definitely super cool to do like in the off season. It's a fun way. Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's definitely exciting. I guess, yeah, it's not always as spoken about or commonly participated in, but there are a lot of other, I guess, more niche disciplines within running, which are definitely cool things to explore.
yeah,
Okay, and so let's kind of talk about your current situation then in terms of running. Where's your head at? How are things going?
yeah. I'm at the moment quite positive because I'm now building back after injury. I had a muscle tear in my adductor, and that already happened in August. But at that moment, I didn't know it was a muscle tear because it was just a bit sore, and I was like, I'm training a lot right now, so it's maybe my hamstring is a bit overdone. I don't know, but I just kept on going because I really want to qualify for the European Cross Country Championships in Antalya. So I was all focused on that and kind of ignoring my left leg. But in the end, it came out that it was a tear in the adductor muscle, and therefore my hamstring really had to work very hard because the adductor was not functioning anymore. So that was also kind of nice to know because I was struggling for like 3 months already with my left leg. So it was kind of nice to have an answer for the struggle, but also very hard because it was like 2.5 weeks before Europeans. And I was still all focused on that I was going to make that. Um, so that was a bummer. But yeah, in the end, now I'm back running again. So I try to focus on the future and not on the past anymore.
That's a great mindset to have. And definitely, it's always tough when an injury comes along, especially at a moment where you're prepped and ready and looking forward to a particular race.
Yeah.
And in terms of that journey, then of kind of discovering that you had the tear, sort of what did that process look like? And how long did it take for them to sort of diagnose that or for you to actually realize that it was a tear?
Yeah, that took a very long time because yeah, I was struggling in the workouts because I got a cramp in my hamstring all the time. But yeah, I was like, okay, this is due to fatigue or something, so just push through it. And that's maybe also my downfall. Like I am very good at pushing through those things and ignoring pains, which is not good. And that's why I'm injured a lot also. But then I went on training camp to Font Romeu, and I still had that feeling in my hamstring. But like, the atmosphere there is so good, and it's so beautiful to run in the mountains. So again, I ran like 170K a week with the tear in my adductor, which is now like kind of crazy. But yeah, I just was a little bit limping. Like people were also saying to me, like, Jasmijn, you are running a bit strange. Like I am always shuffling a lot, but now it became even more. So I was not lifting my leg anymore. And I was like, yeah, I know, but I'm tired because I run so much. So I hope when I taper for the race, it will be fine. But then when I came home, I was still struggling a lot. But yeah, the physiotherapists were saying, no, Jasmijn, there's nothing. Just taper for the race and you will be fine. But in the back of my mind, I was like, nah, I like it's not like I have to push all the time. And it was like I had to drag my left leg with me. Um, so then I asked the sports doctor, like, can you maybe look at it? Um, and I was like thinking, okay, it's probably nothing. But when the sports doctor says, okay, it's nothing, Jasmijn, I can forget about it and just focus on the race. Like nothing in the back of my mind, like there's something. So I went to the sports doctor, and then she asked me to lay down and lift my leg, like just to 90 degrees. And I told her, yeah, I cannot do that, but that's already for 3 months. So that exercise I cannot do, but I can run and stuff. So yeah. And she was like, oh, that's kind of strange when you want to run like a European cross country and you cannot even lift your leg. Like it's not really an exercise. So she was like, okay, we need to make an MRI. And then the MRI showed the 3 centimeter tear in the adductor. So that was a big surprise for me because I did not expect a tear in my muscle. And I could also not point really a moment where that should have happened. So it was super strange story, but yeah, an answer to the long struggle. So yeah, that was in the end of November. And then I had a long recovery after that. And yeah, now I'm really building back the mileage and the workouts again. So now it's all positive again.
Gosh, what a journey. And I mean, it seems like you've got a really positive mindset and kind of ability to reflect on the situation. And, I think there's a couple of things that you mentioned that are particularly interesting, in terms of feeling it maybe in the hamstring when actually it was somewhere else.
Yeah,
And I think that's so
yeah,
common that it's sort of something else. And, you knowing in yourself, oh, something's not quite right, but being able to push through that. I mean, like you say, you're definitely very good at pushing through things. That's quite a long
Yeah.
time to keep going. But yeah, sometimes it is good to get that second opinion or, go with your instinct when you know something's not quite right. And I suppose then in terms of sort of that recovery period, how did you cope with that sort of mentally, trying to stay positive when obviously you've lost the opportunity to compete at a race that you're very much looking forward to?
Yeah, I've had a lot of injuries in the past years, so I kind of learned how to deal with it. And I know that I can always come back. So that's also helping because during my first injuries, I was like, okay, this is the end of the world. I will never come back. It will never heal. But now I know, like, in the end, it will heal. Doesn't matter what it is. So just like wait. Um, and I also like to cross train, and I know that you can get really fit of that. So I was very motivated on the cross trainer and also on the bike, and kind of also enjoying that. So it was not too bad. Like it was hard for me to watch the European cross country championships and miss out on those things, but when they were like after those events, I was like, okay, now focus on the next races. And yeah, I also heard that I was qualified for the European Road Championships that will be in April in Belgium. So I was really motivated for that to build a strong base, like, and yeah, race over there. That will be in 3 months.
Oh, no, that sounds really exciting. And yeah, I mean, obviously it's not great that you've got experience with injuries, but I think it's fantastic the kind of mindset and positive attitude you display towards that and kind of dealing with the situation. It sounds like you're quite good at accepting it, seeing what's the next best thing I can do, and then getting on with that process. And I suppose
Yeah.
then cross training something a lot of people struggle with, and sometimes people as well find it very difficult when they get, say, a big injury, such as yourself. What kind of advice would you give to someone in that position? And for you, what are the things that you find help to keep you motivated in cross training, or maybe some things that you like to do when you're cross training?
Yeah, for me, it really works to see in the moment like what you are into. Because for me, it doesn't really help when I make a schedule and there is like, okay, you have to do this on the cross trainer today, or you have to go for a very long bike ride. Yeah, for me personally, that doesn't really help because then I'm like, I'm injured, and it like it feels worse. So I really like listen to myself. Um, and when I really don't want to crush the cross trainer workout, I'm not going to do it because I know that in the end it will not be good or it will be a big struggle and it will not really help me. But um, like I really like to go very hard on the cross trainer. So most of the time I go there and I crush a workout and then it's good. But sometimes I don't feel it and then I don't do it. Like it's really simple. And also like sometimes I go for a swim, but not every day. I like swimming. So then I just don't do it. Like I listen to what I want and that works for me.
Absolutely. Listening to what you want, that's definitely a great piece of advice and
Yeah.
something that I think has so much value and so much kind of merit in doing that. I know personally, I'm very much the same as you. I quite like to not have a schedule or anything too rigid and definitely sort of lean into what I fancy doing. And is that something then that you tend to apply to your training in general? Because I know that you're now sort of self-coached, which has been a recent change. So what's kind of your general approach to sort of training and structuring that?
Yeah, with running, I kind of make a schedule for myself because otherwise it will be every day the same, I feel like. So with running, I'm a bit more strict and I try to hit like all the zones and easy runs, but also faster things and long runs. So then I have a schedule, but I'm not very strict to myself following that schedule, uh, which sounds kind of strange, but sometimes I plan something, but I don't feel good that day, and then I just um yeah move it to the day after or something. because like in the past, I always trained with a big group and with a coach. And when you train with a group, you are forced to do the sessions on the day that the group sessions are. But sometimes you are not ready for that, but you just do it because it's Tuesday and it's track session day. But for myself, like I'm totally free to make my schedule. So when my legs don't feel good on Tuesday, I can do the Tuesday track session on Wednesday. And I really like that.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think it's, yeah, so great to sort of have that freedom and flexibility. And it sounds like you're someone who's very good at kind of being flexible, being creative, adapting to kind of the situation, which is such a key attribute for top athletes. And you mentioned that if it was, you know, maybe completely unstructured, you probably do the same thing. What would that kind of same thing look like? Is there a particular thing that you enjoy the most?
Yeah, I really like long runs. So for like the 2 hour long runs, they are really the best, I feel like. Um, and I also like longer sessions. So for example, this morning I did 4 times 3K in the forest. And I just love those sessions. Like the longer blocks, it gives me like a lot of adrenaline or something. I really like doing that. So those things.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a cool session, and I guess nice to have sort of some nice scenery for that. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, 2 hours, that's a definitely a long run for sure.
Yeah, I'm not back to the 2 hours yet because I gradually build it up. But yeah, I hope to be back soon with those 2 hour long runs. Yeah. It
Cool.
brings
And
you
then
really far and it's just like a big adventure every time. So it's cool.
that's really cool. And yeah, I guess then as well, sort of in terms of training, I guess now you sort of do most of it on your own. Do you ever find kind of it hard to motivate yourself, or do you, you know, is there anything you found more challenging about training on your own, or are you someone who listens to music? What's the kind of, yeah, what kind of goes through your head?
Um, yeah, I really like to train alone because you can really listen to your own body. And I'm quite a competitive person. So when I train in a group, I am not focusing on myself anymore. I'm really like, I want to win every rep or see how my fitness is compared to the others. Like, it's super stupid, but I'm just like that. So for me, it's very good to train a lot on my own and just focus on myself. Um, but Nijmegen, it has a big running community. So there are many runners over here. So I also do a lot of easy runs together with friends, and that's always nice. So every week I run like 3 or 4 times together with someone, and that's also nice to just have a social run.
Oh no, that sounds like the perfect setup. And yeah, definitely. I think a lot of athletes can probably relate there to being a bit guilty to having that competitive nature. And sometimes it is good to just bring it back to basics. And yeah, it's
Yeah,
nice if you can get a few of those social runs in as well on the side of things.
yeah. Or just do the warm up together and then do your own session. Those kind of things. It's super nice.
Yeah, winning combo right there. And I guess then in terms of kind of for you, like a typical training week, when you're sort of fully uninjured and at your best, what would that kind of look like for you?
Ooh, yeah, on Monday, like 2 easy runs. Tuesday, then a workout, and that would be a track session. Um, and my ideal Tuesday would be like 1K repeats. I really like those. K repeats with short break and yeah, that those kind of things. And then on Wednesday, it's a yeah, kind of long run, not too long, like 75 minutes or something. And then in the afternoon, another short run with some weightlifting. Um, Thursday, yeah, before the injury, I often did my long run there. So like a 2 hour plus long run. And that's kind of the Kenya style that you do the long run like progressive. So the long run is really also like a session. It's not like an easy long run. It's also like kind of hard. So therefore I do that on a Thursday because then on Friday I have easy recovery day again. So easy runs. And then on Saturday you can do another a session most of the time in the forest. Like I did this morning, like 4 times 3K or those kind of stuff. And then on Sunday, also a bit of a long run, like 90 minutes, but not progressive and like very calm and easy. That would be a perfect week, but it's not that I'm doing that every week. I have to be without injury and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, for sure. That sounds like you've got a lot of long runs in there. And if that's something you enjoy, then that does sound like a good setup in that respect. And also wanted to touch on, you sort of mentioned that you're quite into making sure you hit zones and stuff like that. So do you like taking quite a data orientated approach to training? And do you kind of monitor like lactate and heart rate? Is that stuff that you kind of like to do?
Yeah, I'm a biomedical sciences student, so I should like that. And like, I think it's really interesting, and I also like it to see it with others or do like small research with them. For myself, I also do it. Yeah, because I'm coaching myself and I need to see what I'm doing. So sometimes I take lactate, but that's not very often, but more like once per month or something to see if my feeling is still good with the lactate I have. Yeah, or to see which pace is which lactate, and then I know it, and I'm not gonna measure it like again in the same week or something. And with heart rate, like I used to never run with heart rate, because I found it very like distracting, and also the wrist, or no, not the wristband, the band around your torso. I hated it. Like I felt like I could not breathe, so I never wore it. But now I have the Coros arm bands, which also measures your heart rate and is very accurate, they say. So now I use it more often. Um, but yeah, not yeah, more to check whether my feeling is this yeah good for that day.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a really good approach to it because, yeah, some people kind of get concerned that, oh, I might listen to the data too much, but it seems good to use it as more of a check-in. And for you, do you ever feel any stress in terms of being able to see a bit more data and that kind of maybe being a source of comparison or putting pressure on yourself or anything like that?
Yeah, I used to hate lactate measurements. Like when my old coach Honoré had the lactate measurement machine with him, I was like, oh no. And I was trying to yeah, to stop at the other side of the track because I did not want to know my lactate because it was always too high. And then he was like, you go too fast, you need to slow down. And that was the most terrible thing for me. But now I am a bit more like, okay, I want to get better in running, so you should also train the lower zones, and therefore you need to have low lactate. So now I see the point of it. But when I was younger, I always wanted to go hard and not have like a slowdown because of the lactate.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's something that a lot of people can relate to again in that wanting to always go hard and push harder. But it does seem that there's a lot of value sometimes in doing some easier stuff. And is that a
Yeah,
change that you've made maybe in more recent years then?
yeah, and also by experiencing that when I train, yeah, like slower or more easy stuff, my running goes better, like the racing goes faster. So that learned me like, okay, stick to those things because in the end it will make you faster.
Yeah. No, that's really great to hear. And I mean, this year, 2020 or 2024, the year that's kind of just gone, was a pretty good year for you. Set quite a few PBs, you know, over the 5,000, 1518, 3215 over the 10,000. So it seems like things have been going well. Or have you made any changes or any kind of reflections on what you think's allowed you to produce some great performances?
Yeah, I've been injured in 2022 and 2023. So there were no races during those years. Um, so I felt like in the beginning of 2024, I was like, okay, the goal for this year is to stay injury free, have fun with it, do a lot of races and learn from that, because I did not run any race in 2023, which was very bad. So I didn't put any pressure on myself. I had like the goal, just enjoy it. But then, yeah, it went surprisingly good. I was coaching myself from the end of 2022, so that was a big change. Um, and I stayed injury free until the adductor tear. So yeah, that also helped me to run those PBs, because I feel like consistency is always very important.
Yeah.
But it was a very fun year for me. I liked it.
That's great to hear. And yeah, I think producing PBs is always something that you can take enjoyment and happiness from. And yeah, that's great to hear that after some what sounds like quite tough years, you've been able to have kind of a comeback that's produced some good performances that you can feel happy with. And so let's talk around then 2022, 2023. Injury wise, what kind of happened?
Oh, yeah,
What
it's
didn't
too,
happen?
yeah, what happened? Like so many things. I had like so many injuries. A foot injury. I had a lot of foot tendon problems. I always had that in the past too. And then I had pretty bad COVID, and it took very long for me to get back from that, because I had a lot of problems with my breathing. So that was very frustrating. And then I had a car accident, or a car hit me when I was biking. So that was also bad. Then I was also out for a couple of weeks. And then I felt with the racing bike. And then my knee was like damaged. That took also very long. So a lot of things, which were also like stupid things, like not just injuries from running, but also like the car accident and stuff. Yeah, a lot of bad luck, I would say.
Gosh, no, that is a lot. I mean, yeah, talk about a bit of a challenging time, certainly, and for sure, like the bike car incident situation, that is very unlucky. But I'm glad that you're all okay now. Are you sort of recovered fully from all those sort of injuries and mishaps?
Yeah, I'm happy about that too, because it was very hard. Because like with this injury, the hamstring, I had some success and I know I can come back from that. But in 2022 and 2023, like it was injury after sickness, after there was no positive thing in running anymore. So that was super hard. And I was also like, yeah, will this ever come back again? I was always trying, but like I was really doubting myself.
Gosh, yeah, I think anyone would be. I mean, it's so tough to have something go wrong in life, let alone multiple things kind of relentlessly building up without sort of a
Yeah,
break or a small win in
yeah,
between. And so you talk about it being a tough time, which is very justified. I mean, that so many things to sort of go wrong, and mentally that must have been really, really tough for you. Can you walk us through kind of your reflections on that time and maybe some of the things you did that enabled you to cope with the situation at the time?
yeah. I was very lucky to have my studies for sure, because I had a goal to get my degree, and I was busy with that, and like have a social life on the university. So that was really good. And I also like I went training, I think like every day, alternative training like swimming and those kind of things. And also not with the goal in mind to stay fit, but also to keep like happy. Because when I don't exercise, I get really like in a depressive state. Like I really need those endorphins, for sure, or endorphins. So sometimes my English is not that good.
Oh
Sorry.
no, your English is very good.
Oh, Um, so yeah, I don't know how I survived, but in the end it was okay. But it was definitely not my best period.
No, I mean, sounds like you did everything kind of best possible. Again, you have such a great mindset, kind of dealing with the situation as it comes, looking for kind of other avenues. And yeah, I think that's something a lot of runners can relate to. The kind of endorphins you get from running really do help in just sort of daily life in general. And for you, do you feel like your identity was at all affected during that time, kind of not being able to run and do the thing that's such a big part of your life? And I guess as well, just not knowing how things would turn out.
Yes, and I still feel like it was also good that it happened, because before, yeah, my identity was really that I was a runner, and I had some success when I was under 23 with the medal and stuff. So I really had the feeling like I had to run and I had to be successful in running. But yeah, when you're out with the injury for so long, like you cannot keep up with that identity because you are not running and you are not racing and you are not getting good achievements. So it was also really good for me to see like I still had my friends, I still had my family. Yeah, they also appreciate me just as a normal person and not as a runner. So that was kind of eye-opening, but also kind of hard to see like that running was just yeah, that it was so big for me, but that without running, that I had to learn also, yeah, to kind of live your day without the running and racing and goals.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a really challenging thing. And yeah, it's something that can be so dominant in your life, but it's great that you're able to take the positives from that and those learnings moving forwards. And would you say that's something that's really helped you in the kind of past year, perhaps, and any sort of major mindset shifts that you've kept with you?
Yeah, for sure. Because in the past year, I was just like really enjoying all the racing and really appreciating that I could do all those things, because I did not do them in the years before. So, for example, going to Rome to the European Championships, that was huge for me, and I was just like saying to myself all the time, like, enjoy this moment because it's not normal, and it's really special that you can do those things. So, yeah, that was very good.
No, that's great to hear. And yeah, sometimes it takes something hard or takes something we love being taken away from us to kind of realize and be able to fully appreciate it again. And there's two things I want to sort of follow up. Firstly, a bit before you mentioned that pressure on yourself to be a runner, get to your best. It'd be great to understand a little bit more about sort of where that pressure was coming from, what exactly you were kind of feeling in that respect. And then after that, you talk more about enjoying it now and in the past year. What does that really look like and mean for you?
Um, the enjoyment, you mean?
Yeah,
Or
so yeah, how's it kind of changed your approach or your mindset when you're, enjoying it, whereas maybe before it was more pressure?
yeah, it's kind of funny, but I like a lot of people always ask me, what do you have to do today? Like, what session do you have to do? And I always correct them because I'm like, I can do. Uh, yeah, in Dutch we say, yeah, moeten, or yeah, you can do it. So I choose to do, for example, 4 times 3K, and I don't have to do it. And that's like also how I speak to myself. Like I can do a long run, but I don't have to do a long run. Like when I don't want to, I don't have to do it, but I always do it. And yeah, that's really my mindset right now. Also with the racing, like I can qualify for championships, but I don't have to. Like when it comes, and when it doesn't come, yeah, you cannot force it.
Oh, that's amazing advice right there. Yeah, definitely something to take on board, can not have to. And yeah, these small changes can really add up in the long run and make a big difference overall. And I guess to sort of explore them before, when you used to sort of maybe feel that you had to do a session, was there any like what was the reason that you might feel like, oh, I have to do this? Can you kind of elaborate a bit more around that?
Um, Yeah, it was also because I was following a schedule of my coach. And for me, yeah, it's maybe a bit strange, but I really like to make my own schedule because I have the feeling of, yeah, freedom, and I decide to do it myself. And when someone else says I have to do something, yeah, that's a bit harder for me. But yeah, that's kind of stupid maybe too, because many people just follow their coach's advice, and that's also very smart. But I like to be a free person, I think. Um, yeah, just that, and with the pressure, yeah. I think because I had some success when I was junior and under 23, um, I put a huge pressure on myself that I had to do that again. And then, like other girls, were running much faster, or were progressing much more than I was doing. And so I was kind of hard on myself. Um, and also with the combination with my study, like I could have chose to, yeah, choose to, yeah, just focus on running, but I also wanted to get my degree. um so yeah, that's always a balance. And yeah, I think in the end it's all having patience. That's the most important.
For sure. Patience and balance are absolutely key. And yeah, that all makes so much sense. And when you have such a high level of junior success, I can only imagine. And, it does seem that does add a huge amount of pressure on an individual. And yeah, so let's sort of talk about that background then. Obviously you've had great success kind of at the under 23 level, internationally. But for you, where did the running journey start? And what was that journey like through your junior years?
Yeah, I started doing athletics when I was 7, so very young. And that was because of a girl in my neighborhood. She was doing athletics already. And I was always running in the streets, like in and out, and like making myself very tired, was because I really liked that. So the mom of that girl, she told my mom, like, you should go with Jasmijn to the athletics club because she would love that. So my mom took me to the athletics club, and I had no idea what athletics even was. Like, I was like, okay, we go here. My mom says I will like it. So we went there, and the first thing we were doing was running, I think, like 2 laps on the track. That was like the warm up. And yeah, that was the best part of the training for me, like running those 2 laps. And I was going all out because I wanted to win of all the boys. So yeah, that's where the journey started. And I did like the all the events until I was 14 years old. So also the shot put and the high jump. And yeah, I had a very good time over there with a lot of my friends were there. So it was super nice. And we were not that competitive. It was more about having fun.
That's really good. I think, yeah, it's definitely so important to keep that element of fun and the focus on enjoyment in those younger years. And yeah, that's such
Yes, for
a
sure.
lovely way to get into things. And I know at 14, or it was you were 14 when you were kind of scouted. Can you talk us through kind of what that journey was like, and how your life then sort of changed as you went off to train as a result of that?
Yeah, so I was already doing athletics, but then during my gym class at high school, Honoré Hoed, that was during that time, that was the Dutch head coach. He came to our gym class to see whether there were talents in the school, and we had to run like I think like 1,000 meters on the grass field where we had gym class. Um, so we did that, and I went, of course, I went all out because I want to show off. And then after that, I got an invitation from him to come to Papendal. Papendal is the national training center in the Netherlands. Yeah, to join a training session with his crew. So I feel like this was on a Tuesday or something, and then I got the invitation, and the next training day was a Thursday for that group. So, like 2 days after, I immediately went because I remember that I was really scared that he would say, oh, sorry, this was a fault. The invitation is not is not there anymore. So I immediately went because I was like, okay, before he thinks something else. So I went there, and it was really funny because it was during the off season, so not many athletes were there, but there was only one girl, and that was Sifan Hassan. So Honoré told me, okay, Jasmijn, you can warm up with Sifan Hassan, or Sifan, he just said Sifan, of course. Yeah, Sifan, she is very fast. She's a huge talent. But yeah, at that time, Sifan did not do any races. So I had no idea who Sifan was. So I was like, okay, hi, Sifan, I'm Jasmijn. So we went warming up, and then we did like a loop of 5K as a warm-up, and Sifan totally destroyed me during the warm-up because I was not used to running so long, because at my athletics club the longest we did was like maybe 5 minutes of running, but not longer. It was more about sprinting and stuff. So we came back at the track, and I was totally destroyed. And Honoré told me, okay, Jasmijn, this is it for today. You can come back next week. But the warm-up, that was it for my first session there. But I kept on coming back because I really liked it. And it was very fun.
Gosh, yeah, no, I think, that's something that I think a lot of, people who are kind of within running or within the sport might feel that same sense of, oh, am I good enough? It's the kind of constant need to improve, and sometimes a bit of external validation, but no, that's such a lovely kind of journey in, and what a first warm up for sure. And things, I guess, only sort of took off from there. Then, you collected national titles along the way. How did that kind of impact your ambitions running wise, and maybe the rest of your journey to where you are now?
Yeah, it's funny to think back because I started very small. For me, it was huge that I could join the group of Honoré for sure. And then I started to do like Dutch national championships, and my age was quite competitive, so it was always like a big fight. So I say like sometimes I won, but there were also other girls who won, so it was very competitive, which was a huge motivation for sure. And then I remember in 2016, I qualified for the Eurocross in Sardinia, Kia. That was a dream come true. Like I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. But I was also very scared because I was like, oh, level is so high, and I had the feeling like I don't belong here. But I was like, okay, I'm going there. Maybe it's a once in a lifetime. So I really enjoyed that tournament. And then from then on, I became fifth over there. So that was a huge surprise because I was very scared that I would become last. But then I was like, oh, I'm fifth. Whoa. And then you start dreaming about getting a medal, and then you start dreaming about getting the gold one day. And it really goes step by step, I feel like.
For sure. And no, that's so lovely to hear. And I think that feeling of feeling like you don't belong, or sometimes known as imposter syndrome, is something that, again, a lot of people struggle with at one stage or another. And for you, is that something that's gone away then over the years now? Or do you ever still kind of get moments where you're like, oh, wow?
Oh, yeah, I still have that every day. Yeah. But it also, I feel like it's kind of nice to have it because you still see those experiences as special, and you're happy that you are there. I think that's important to keep it like that.
Yeah, no, that's a great way of looking at things. And of course, then, you've got yourself to a point where you're at uni, you're a professional athlete running for New Balance, you've picked up European titles. Can you talk us through how that kind of came about? When did you become a professional athlete? And also then, after that, I think if we discuss maybe around some of your mindset in terms of, being a champion.
Yeah, I became New Balance athlete in 2017 because I ran the Great Edinburgh cross country. I don't know if you know that race.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's the race where Team Europe competes against USA against Great Britain. It's at Arthur's Seat, so it's a very nice course. But the race is not existing anymore, I think. But then the clothing was sponsored by New Balance at that time. And I was just lucky that I talked to the right person, I feel like, because after that race, I got an email like, oh, the New Balance kit was looking good on you. Do you maybe want to run for New Balance? So I was like, what the heck? That was like super crazy for me. I did not expect that at all. So then New Balance started sponsoring me, first just by clothing and then also a contract. So that's already 8 years now. So that's really cool.
No, that's great to hear. I know sometimes people talk around kind of it being difficult to get a contract that lasts a long time with a certain brand, but it's great that you've got that stability and kind of support from them. And is that
Yeah.
something that was agreed kind of on a long-term basis, or is it something that's kind of reviewed yearly?
Yeah, it's reviewed like every 2 years. So I just signed a new contract for 2 more years. Um, yeah, and I'm really grateful for New Balance that they keep on supporting me also during those difficult years where I did not race for them and it was not like I really they got something from me, but they still kept on supporting me and they went with me to Belgium to see whether there was something in my stride and the runners lab it is called, yeah, to keep preventing the injuries and to see which shoes are the best for me and all those kind of things. Yeah, I'm really grateful for New Balance.
Oh, that's really great to hear. You know, it's fantastic to hear that you've had that support and that experience. And for you, what shoes are best then?
Ooh, yeah, the 1080 of New Balance. I think you know them because
Yeah.
many runners run on them. Yeah, I really like those. And I also tested with the carbon shoes. And for example, the new carbon shoes are perfect for me. But in the old ones, they were a bit unstable. So that was very hard for the tendons in my foot. And that was why I got all those tendon injuries. So those little things, yeah, they really help me.
No, that's really great. And yeah, it's funny how small changes can have such a big impact, and everyone's an individual and requires maybe slightly different things here and there. And then I guess the other thing is, in terms of for you, 2021 was it? 2019 when you won those, when you won those European championships or when you won your European title, what was that kind of like, mindset wise? What did it feel like to become a champion, and how did you sort of approach the situation?
Yeah, there was European Championships in Tallinn, Estonia, and it was during COVID. So it was kind of strange situation. But my mom and brother, they still came out to support me. So that was really nice. And also my coach, More. And I had the fastest time of the year by then. So I had like the blue bib number, which is that you are the favorite. So there was some pressure on me, but I knew that I was in good shape. And also Honoré gave me a lot of self-confidence because he told me like you are good, trust in yourself. So that really helped me. And yeah, before I had the feeling I had to win that race, and also during the race there was like no option of becoming second. I had to win. So that also helped me because during the race there was one girl from Italy, Anna Arnardo, and she kept on running with me. We were running the whole race together, but yeah, there was no option of losing from her. So I kept on fighting, and that was really, yeah, a very good day for me. Yeah.
Yeah, mindset of steel for sure. That's really great to
Yeah.
hear. And yeah, I guess a couple of kind of last few things as we come towards the end of our time. So, in terms of, you're a student, you study biomedical sciences. That sounds like quite a meaty degree there. How do you balance the two and kind of looking to the future? Where do you see your ambitions going, sort of maybe career wise?
Yeah. Like a couple of years ago, I wanted to do med school because I always dreamed of becoming a doctor, but I did not pass the I don't know, the selection. So then I started my plan B, that was biomedical sciences, and I'm now almost finished with the masters. I will finish in 1 month, so that's really exciting for me because it was a long journey of studying. Um, but yeah, I really like biomedical sciences because I'm really interested in the human body and health and stuff. And I specialize myself in movement sciences. So yeah, the I really like the effect of exercise on human health and also how exercise can help people with diseases or children with diseases. Yeah, that's a huge passion of me. Um, and I'm not sure what I will be doing after when I finish my degree. I'm now kind of figuring that out and doing some solicitation processes and stuff. But I cannot tell by the time, yeah, I cannot tell you right now what I'm going to do. But for sure, I want to have a job besides the running because only running for me, that's not good for my mind. I need to do something else too.
Yeah, it's really cool to hear. And yeah, such a nice area to go into, so much value you can add there. And yeah, I can tell you're passionate about it. So that's really cool. And yeah, for sure, it can be good sometimes to have two things because yeah, too much
Yeah,
focus on one thing can lead to a bit of craziness or going a bit mad
yeah.
sometimes.
I feel like then it is going to be I have to perform because I am only doing running. But when I also have a job, it's more like I do my job. I can also run. That's yeah, better combination.
Yeah, no, for sure. And yeah, something that a lot of people are showing can successfully be done for sure these days.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
for you kind of looking back over things overall in a kind of sentence or so, for you, what's your favorite running memory to date?
Oh, that's a very hard question. Um, yeah, my first championships in Kia, the Eurocross. That was yeah. I think I will never experience a better weekend than that. That was yeah, super nice.
Oh, that's great to hear. And what motivates you?
Um, yeah, I just want to keep on improving myself. And yeah, I just really like training, so I don't need a lot of motivation. I am yeah, just enjoying it.
That's really good to hear. It's always, when something's driven by pure enjoyment, that definitely leads to kind of the best results, not just from a performance perspective, but from kind of a happiness point of view as well. And for
Yeah.
you, what's your favorite distance to run?
Ooh, I like the combination because I love cross country. Like that's my pure love. And those are more like the 8K, 6K distances. And like on the track, it's the 10K for sure, but I still think 10K on the track is very boring. Especially the time trial races. Like those are not my favorite. But I like the championships races because then it's more on the tactics and stuff. Um, and on the road, I really like the half marathon. But it was a long time ago that I ran it. So I often say that half marathon is my favorite, but it's also a long time ago. So I have to do it again to really say that, I think.
So a new half marathon's on the cards for you.
Yes, I hope so. I did not plan it yet, but maybe in the Europeans in Belgium, I will do half marathon. So then I can see if I still like it.
Exciting stuff to come. And I mean, yeah, that was a 70 minute half marathon from 2021. So, I'm sure there's a lot of exciting stuff to come in that direction. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I guess then we come to the end of our time. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. You've got an incredible mindset and, a great attitude, which I think a lot of people can learn from and take enjoyment from hearing. So yeah, thank you so much, Jasmijn.
Yeah, thank you for the nice chats. And I'm honored that I was invited on your podcast.
No, absolutely honored to have you. So that's it for today. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, be sure to rate, subscribe, and leave a review. This really helps to get the content out there. And I want to make this podcast the best possible for you. So go follow Fitter, Faster, Happier on Instagram. That's Fitter, Faster, Happier to leave your questions, comments and feedback, and for updates and guest requests. All the best for the week ahead, guys. Run happy, live happy, be happy.